So what I'm doing today is de-priming 38 specials, and what I'm using is the Lee Universal Primer die with a Lee 38 special brass holding die for the base here. And it's a pretty simple operation. You just slide them in, pop them out, and they fall in the receiver tube. The primers fall into the receiver tube. The only difficulty is some of the factory brass has a misformed lower base. You probably won't be able to see it. This one's very round. But some of them are not. Some of them are a little bit out of round, and when you hit those, they'll snag, and it'll be a hard push. I mean, you could force it, but you really don't need to. My experience is when I hit one, and hopefully I will hit one because I usually do, is all you have to do is spin the brass with your finger, slide it and spin it just a small amount, and usually that'll take that flat spot out of center and allow the primer to do its work. There we go. There's a snag. So what you do is just reach in, give it a little spin. Usually it goes right through the next time. It's a pretty fast process. I'm not actually sizing the brass right now. I'm just popping the primers. The reason I do that is I like to run it through the cleaning media de-primed. You don't have to do that, but it's just something I like to do. You can do it with you can run it through the cleaning media with a primer or without. I just prefer to do it without. The reason being that, as you might be able to see with this one, is the white powder. This one was, some of these were already run through the media, and it kind of fills up with the corn media. The powdery part of the media gets crammed in the primer hole, and you got to clean it out. So it's a little bit easier to do it if the primers are out in advance. I'm using the poor man setup. This is a regular single die, or single press. Great way to learn, great way to practice, and a great way to kill some time and have fun with your hobby. I enjoy all the aspects. You can move it along and go a little bit faster by combining processes, but I'm not in a hurry, and so I'm doing a few at a time. I was saying before, you know, a person can do a couple hundred rounds in about 15-20 minutes. So it's not a great deal of your time, and if you have time for your hobby, or if you want to shoot a lot more, this gives you the capacity to shoot a lot more. Also, it kind of gives you the capacity to control your destiny with your hobby. You can find a load that works well for you. You know, if you've got wrists that get sore easy, you can shoot lighter loads. If you want stronger loads, you can take them up to the higher end of the tested spectrum and get the most out of your projectiles and out of your firearm. For me, I kind of load in the middle. Try not to go to the extremes, and when I'm loading for my my wife, I usually lighten them up a little bit for her, just because she doesn't like her wrist beat up, especially if she's shooting something light, like one of the aluminum body firearms or one of the composite bodies. They're becoming so popular, or are so popular. You know, it's a great hobby, a lot of fun, great way to fill your time, and it's actually a lot of fun to learn the math and actually see if you can get the results out of your loads that you're shooting for. You know, once I mastered the math, I take a great deal of pleasure in chronoing the bullets and finding out that yes, I got the speed, I got all the factors to pull together exactly the way I wanted to, that my plan outcomes are achieved. And in that way, you know, is where you find what works for you, and for your style of shooting. You know, if you want to shoot fast and lots of targets, a lighter load might be the way to go, especially if you're shooting at a set range. Cowboy shooters, quick action shooters. If you're looking for a self-defense load, you might want one that's going to stay in the target and not go clean through, but you want a real heavy hit. You might want to put a lot of foot-pounds of energy into the target, in which case you're going to want a very specific load, and you're going to want to experiment. You know, there are times you're going to want a round that penetrates, and there's going to be times where you don't. I know if I ever had to use a firearm in the house, I wouldn't want a penetrator. I'd want one that delivered as many foot-pounds as possible, but wasn't going to go through the target and through the walls of my house. So it's a great hobby, a lot of fun, and like I said, you can do it in stages, like I'm doing right now, where you do one operation at a time, because I'm not in a hurry. I'm not going to the range for a week or two. I've already got about 400 or 500 rounds de-primed for several different calibers. I'm going to probably load up a couple hundred for each, and then have a good day at the range. So remember, our Second Amendment rights exist because we stand up and say we want them. So I encourage you to join the National Rifle Association, other shooting clubs, form your own shooting club, and make your voices heard. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.